good morning, everybody. It's Vince with Listings to Leads, and this is our class on the top tools to get more listings. And what I want to say before I get into that is that we have tools here for agents with listings and for agents without listings. And it doesn't matter if you don't have listings, we still have tools to help you get both buyers or seller leads. So there's a lot in the system where we've been really successful for 11 years to help agents capture leads. I'm going to show you some of the top ways to get listing leads today. But there's terrific ways to get buyers as well. And maybe I'll show you a little bit of that as well. So we can all log into our own account here. You don't have to log in now while we're talking, because you should really see what we've got here. There's really kind of three areas to capture leads, and specifically for listing leads. They're kind of ads, social media ads. There's print. There's also your CRM. And a lot of people don't really think much about print or CRM, but this is a great way to activate your old leads. So inside Listings to Leads, we're going to focus on the listings page, on the ads page, right? And I'll show you a little bit about landing pages, because there actually are some tools there to help you get listings there as well. So these are the three areas that we really want to focus in on. And let's get the answers to the questions. So Carlos, you've been with us for 3 years. Keisha's been with us for a year, and JV's been about a year. So yeah, right now we're on the ads page. And what I want to show you is one of the first things that agents think that they should do to get listing leads. And I want to show this to you first, because it's actually at the bottom of the list, because these do generate leads, but they don't generate high quality leads. And the reason why you want high quality leads is that they actually turn into listing contracts. So let's just go where you shouldn't go, just so that we can get this out of the way right away. Because I have this question pop up all the time. Create a landing page ad for free home values, and create an ad. And I want to kind of explain it, why it's not as effective. It's not as effective for one reason, that you can't actually target people very well. Because of the rules that Facebook has been forced to change, it's just not an effective ad. Now, to kind of explain it, I'm gonna type in Pleasant Hill. It's a neighborhood by me. It's a small town by me. And you can see that my minimum radius is 15 miles, okay? So everybody's gonna see this. Now, I could have a page that says, what is your Pleasant Hill home worth? And I could go and capture leads, right? But the problem is that the radius of Pleasant Hill and the reality of the map of Pleasant Hill are not the same, right? A 15-mile radius in Pleasant Hill gets me in all kinds of other towns, right? And if you can see, it's a little wide area, that's Pleasant Hill. But my ad's gonna run way out here into all kinds of other cities. And so I'm already like overshooting my ad, right? And that's because Facebook will not allow you to tighten up. Meaning, 3 years ago, you could say, I want everybody who lives inside Pleasant Hill to only be the people that see this ad. In those days, these are great ads to run. And these days, it's not so great, okay? But I want you to know that up front, because now we're gonna talk about the things that really do work, and they work right now in our climate. They work in all the inventory problems. They work with COVID. They're working for our clients right now. So I'm on the listings page now, and I was on a call with somebody today who didn't have her own listings, but she had listings from the office. And I want to tell you this, if you are that where you don't have your own listings, you can use this button to grab an active listing. When you click grab active listing, you drop in the zip code, you drop in the MLS ID, deselect this so we don't create a YouTube video that says it's your listing, and click grab. And then that listing sits inside your account. And at that point, we got a lot of tools here to help you. So just click on market listing. And on this particular listing, I've got an open house, okay? So it defaults us to create a Facebook ad, but an open house ad is designed to get buyers and not sellers. And this call here today is to talk about how to get sellers. So the number one tool is actually right here, a nearby homeowner letter. And I want to point out that you can use this even if you borrowed the listing, right? So I'm going to download this one over here. There are just 3 different versions, aesthetically different. You're welcome to choose whichever one you want. But I'm going to download this this version here and then kind of talk about it. And it looks like we've got a class coming up. I was looking at our GoToMeeting panel that we're going to be talking about Remind, but I'm going to give you, if that sounds confusing, I'm going to explain to you why we are going to focus on that. This is a flyer to talk about an open house. And this is where it starts to get tricky for agents to understand. By marketing your listings, we give you tools to get more listings, okay? Now, obviously, an open house, we're looking for buyers. And so this physical piece of paper says, go to this web address and go become a buyer lead there. But then it always says when it's sold, it's going to affect your home value. So who is going to take a physical piece of paper to their own computer in their own home and type that web address in to go to this page? Only people who are very interested in the value of their home. And most people who are interested in the value of their home are thinking about possibly selling. So to get their value, they've got to give you their address and their email. And what you should know is that this is coming from people who you delivered it to. So let's talk about how you deliver it. Now, I didn't mention it earlier, but if you're a client, you should be in our mastermind group. And if you're a client and you're not in our mastermind group, go to the support page right here on the bottom left and type it in the box, please add me to the mastermind group, and then they will start that process. Now, what I definitely want you to go look at are these 3 names. I'm going to do them one at a time and explain to you why it is important, okay? Chris Winstead. Sorry, it's still Monday morning for me. Chris Winstead. This guy moved to San Antonio, Texas last summer. And so he was a realtor, but he didn't have any, credibility or name recognition in San Antonio. So he started borrowing listings from his new office, and he made this pretty cool video, which is cool, but this is really where the money is. He mailed that letter that I just showed you out every 2 weeks to neighbors who own their homes for 5 years or more, okay? Once they opt in on the home valuation landing page, meaning once those people that own the homes for 5 years took their piece of paper and typed this in and opted in and got that information, he would hit them up every week with phone calls, bomb messages, letters via mail, and letters left at the door. In 3 months, he got 5 listings in that neighborhood that he had just moved into, okay? This is a very effective tool if you use it. And if you overlay it, what he did is he had this list of people that own their homes for more than 5 years. If you overlay it with a data set like that, that's going to really help you out. That's going to make it more valuable than instead of just sending it to a bunch of zip codes, a bunch of addresses in a zip code or something like that, okay? So there's another name, because this is very important. I want you to see this name too. Alicia Pless has been a client for a few years, and she mails this out consistently. And what she has shown us, and what we already knew, but she's showing the group, is that you want to make sure this stuff doesn't look like junk mail. You want to use something that is kind of custom looking, right? So that if I open my mail, I don't toss it immediately, right? And she does this over and over. And then she just says, after a while, she says, look, I've got 5, I can't remember, there's a time where she's, I've got my 3rd listing in 6 months in the same subdivision, okay? What's amazing is there's only 50 homes in that subdivision. So she definitely knows how to use this letter, and I definitely recommend that you look at what she's been saying in the mastermind group to learn more about how she applies this letter, because I do think in the 11 years that we've done this, I've only spoke to 2 agents where this letter has not worked for them, okay? The last one was a rookie agent when I sold their office. If you don't know this, we have discounted team and office accounts. And when I sold their office, they had 300 agents, and he was a green agent for 2 years, right? And he took this same letter. He got a little one-page calendar of him and his wife. They put it in a black envelope. They even made a little one-page Zillow testimonial deal, and they mailed this to 250 homes, first class, which cost him $625, right? But he did get 10 listings in the state of Maryland with an average commission of $17,000. So he's kind enough to say, hey, this is our highest ROI in our business. This guy, Dustin, was a rookie agent when he started doing this. He went from $5 to $20 million in annual production. He's, I'm sure, grown in this year. And he got in a call with us. You could look up Dustin Fox's name. We've got a recorded call from the beginning of this year where he wanted to do the call because he said he went from 5 to 20 million, and 80% of his business was coming from our tools, and he put in 2 hours a week using our system. This is one of the key tools that he uses. It's in every one of your accounts as long as you have a listing. I do highly recommend that you use that. That's the #1 tool for getting listing leads that turn into listing contracts. Now, there's another tool here that we send out automatically to you, and most of our agents don't know what it is. It's a tool for your seller social media. We can auto post to your social media, and we have a way for you to quickly run ads to social media. But we're one of the few companies that makes a tool for your client, for the homeowner. And we want to make sure that you use this because this is great for high quality leads and high quality almost referrals, right? Because it says, hey, here's an open house. And, you know, our agent, you at your office, is doing a lot of work to market this. Please share, comment, right? Now, so when the client puts this on their Facebook page and it says, you know, all this, if one of their friends or family or colleagues clicks on this, they're going to land on a page where they can become a buyer lead, right? That kind of makes sense. I want to show this to you what it looks like when the home is for sold. Let's see here. I use listing leads for my under contract. Yeah, you can do the same thing with under contract. I did get leads with phone numbers and emails and only have them in my CRM. So Lizette, what are you saying? Did you use this particular tool for the sellers, or did you use the nearby homeowner for your home that is under contract? And let me kind of stop and interrupt about that. If you're talking about the letter, when you're talking about the letter, a lot of our clients use this letter when a home is just listed or maybe open house and then definitely just sold. Same property, just multiple times, because this letter is effective. Vadrana, do we need permission from a listing agent before we grab a listing? Yeah, you typically do. I don't know what your local rules are. Usually you have office rules and MLS rules. Typically you need to have permission for that. Yeah. So I was talking about the tool for sellers, for the seller social media, right? And I showed you what it looks like when the home is open house. But I want to show you what it looks like when the home is sold, right? So this is now a property that you've already sold, and it says our home is sold, and we want to recommend you at your office for doing a great job. Here is your phone number and email in front of all my friends and family on Facebook to see, okay? And when they click on this property, it's sold. And if it's sold, we're not looking for buyers, because not a lot of buyers look at sold properties. You know who looks at sold properties? Homeowners. And that's why when the call to action pops up here, it's asking for a home value, right? Would you like your free home value? So that is the point of what sold advertising with listings to leads is about. It's about getting more listings. But this particular tool is designed to get you referrals and leads from your seller's sphere of influence, right? From their friends and family and colleagues. Now, since we're here on the seller property, I'm going to click on Facebook ads. And this is designed to run an ad for a sold property, right? So notice that it says that affected your home value. Get your free home value by responding to this ad. So this ad is designed to get sellers. So there's an extra step I want you to take. This is very new. So if you've been a client with us for years, what I'm about to show you is just a couple of weeks old. So you need to watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to click Advanced Options. I'm going to click Create New Form. And I'm going to click Form Questions, and I'm going to add this question. What is your time frame to sell? So that will be added to this list, okay? And then you click Create New Form. That way, you're going to get a lead with a name, email, and phone number, and what their time frame is to sell. Does that make sense? It's going to give them options: 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and more than 6 months. If you get a lead that wants to sell in 3 months, please follow up, okay? Please follow up with that lead. I showed you, and the follow-up, if you forgot, the best follow-up I've seen from our clients is what Chris Winstead said when I showed you this at the beginning. Every week, he follows up with phone calls, bomb, letters via mail, and letters left at the door. Every week. If somebody responds to your ad and says they want to sell their home in 3 months, use Chris's follow-up plan, okay? That's pretty simple. So that is Facebook. We talked about social media posts for the seller. We talked about the nearby homeowner letter. There's also an e-flyer for your database. And you want to use this every time, even with a borrowed listing, at any status. I recommend every week, but at least every 2 weeks. Here's a home that says it's sold, right? This home is sold. Click this. You know that the call to actions on that property are going to help you get listing leads. But it's also going to say that has affected your home value. So if you click on this or this, you're going to get somebody dropping on your home valuation landing page and becoming a listing lead. Also notice that we have your email signature that we create for you in listings to leads. It's buried in your profile. It's called a lead gen signature, but it also has get free home values. And since my favorite hyperlink is home values, there are like 4 ways for me to capture listing leads with one flyer. That's because this thing is sold. You should use this flyer, copy the code right here. You copy HTML code, go blast it out on your MailChimp, on your Constant Contact, on your Boomtown, whatever CRM you've got, you should be able to blast that out. The only caveat, if you're from Keller Williams and you're using Command, I have not seen a way where you can take third-party HTML and blast it like that. But inside the listing section, the nearby homeowner letter is number 1, the seller social media tool, and the e-flyer for your database. And if the property is sold, running a sold ad. Any questions on what I've shown you here? This is how you market a listing, okay? Let's talk about other ads. I'm gonna take a sip of water here. Now, I'd like to ask a quick question. Has everybody here run an ad with our ads page here? Any kind of ad? Just a yes or no in the chat panel will let me know what I know, what I need to tell you guys. So while I'm waiting for that, and I really like that response, just yes or no from everybody, you can create a listing ad. You leave it on lead ad so you get phone numbers. If you run a sold ad, you know what? You're gonna get listing leads. And I'm gonna just go through this because I want you to really remember what I mentioned earlier. It's very easy to run a sold ad. You could just click publish, right? But if you want to add that advanced option to get that last question, what is your time frame to sell, right? And you click create form, and that's going to pop up on the form on the ad. Now, there's one more thing when you're doing a sold property. So for some people, running an ad just like this works, and they get listing leads. But for others, you got to add a little more juice to make this work, make it pop, right? And let me give you a couple of ideas. In order to customize this, you've already clicked on advanced options, go to the ad copy, the primary text, right? Which is this text over here on the right. So if I go, like, if your home is sold, it's funny, a lot of agents think I sold a home, I don't have anything to do. I don't have any way to market anymore. Sold homes get you more listings. And then, I'll talk to an agent and say, well, you should market it. So how long did it take to sell? Oh, it was in contract in 5 days. This is huge information that agents have that Scott and I don't know. And you should share it. Notice as I write it on the left box, it shows up live on the right. So it's going to actually show up on my ad in contract in 5 days. Did it sell, I don't know, 20K above asking? Because that's happening a lot. Inventory is tight. You might still have, 7 qualified buyers still looking. This is all an incentive for people to respond to this because it's telling them you can sell a home fast and you can make money for them and you've got buyers ready to go. If I owned a home and I was even contemplating this, I would want to talk to you, right? So if you've got this kind of information, I recommend that you use that kind of language. So most of you have run ads on this. Vidrana, are you understanding how to run an ad on this? Because it's what I'm doing right here is showing you how to run an ad. It's not terribly difficult. It's actually much easier than the Facebook itself. If you're in real estate, I don't recommend that you even run an ad on Facebook because it's so difficult. We make it really, really easy to run ads and get, and run ads because we have all their software. We just checked all the boxes for you so you don't make any mistakes. Okay, so that's what you should do if you've got a listing ad. Customize that, make sure you use the advanced questions and get the right form. But there's also some really cool ads that you can run to get listing leads that don't even require any listing at all. And that's create a PDF report ad. And we have 25 PDF reports for sellers, divorce and real estate, right? How to stage your home, curb appeal, 12 mistakes to avoid. If you click one of these white buttons here, that's going to allow you to download the report and read it yourself before you run the ad if you want. You'll notice that your contact information is on every page of that report. So it's building your brand, and you should definitely be running something like this at least once a week or every other week. I'm going to click create an ad. And what I want to remind you, there's always a different graphic and it's going to help you, but you should always click advanced options and get that extra question of when is your time frame to sell, okay? And then type in the town. That's all you got to do to make this thing work. You might want to expand your radius, right? So that's a great tool to get. This is a really great way of getting listing leads from Facebook, all right? Now let's go over to landing pages and let's talk about that first ad I was talking about, which is the home value landing pages, right? Because that's where a lot of agents still think that that's the kind of ad you got to run on Facebook. And as I mentioned before, it's not. You definitely want to use these pages though, and I do recommend that you run a home value ad at least once a month on Facebook, just to let the market know that you are a professional and can get somebody's home value. It's just you're not going to get high quality leads, okay? But it's great for your branding to let everybody know that you're an expert in the space, okay? But there is something behind this home value page when you click edit that you definitely want to be using, okay? So what I want to remind you is I've got a page here for Modesto, and I've got like the arch that you got to drive in, right? Modesto is a small town in Central California, and obviously you would know that arch as being part of Modesto. So you want to customize your page to look like what, some kind of landmark that's going to make people feel comfortable, because what this page asks for is somebody's address and contact information. And if they haven't met you, why in the world would they trust you, right? Why wouldn't you think you're just signing up for a national spam campaign or something? So that's what I really want to make sure that you think of when you create a home value page for a particular town or neighborhood, that you upload a picture that makes them feel comfortable that you know the area. Now, on advanced options, there's print marketing. And in print marketing, there's something very cool. It's very much like the nearby homeowner letter, but you don't need any listings for this. You could just say, hey, I want listings in a particular neighborhood or a particular town. And I'm going to customize that page with a picture of that town. And then it's got a message that these are the amount of homes sold. Now, this language right here is just boilerplate. You should edit it yourself with real stats, like, 50 homes sold. The high was 900. That's 500 homes sold this year or something like that. Just a little bit of info, because then it says that has affected your home value, and click here, scan this to get your free home value. Does that make sense? So you don't even need a listing to use this. And that's going to help you get more listing leads. That is in the advanced section of any home valuation landing page. Okay? And you should actually have a home valuation landing page for every town that you want to build a business in. This is my one for Release Valley, which is actually a really small neighborhood in Lafayette. But there are beautiful homes, there are expensive homes. You want to be able to sell homes there. And this picture in the background is the swimming club for Release Valley. So if you know the swimming club, you know Release Valley. And that's what I'm trying to convey to you right now, is you want to make sure that people know from looking at this page that you know their area. Then your ads are going to work better, your print flyers are going to work better, and that's good for you. All right, so we talked about the landing pages and where to get tools to help you get more listings. We talked about the Facebook ads and how to get more listings, running sold ads, using PDF report ads. And then we talked about the tools on the listing section, right? And that's using the nearby homeowner letter, using the seller's social media, using Facebook ads when a property is sold. These are the top ways of getting more listings. Now, I want to point out something about ads that I didn't mention earlier, but just in case, because some of you work in Spanish-speaking communities in the United States, or maybe you're in Latin America and you're in a Spanish-speaking community. Over here, when we use our PDF report ads, we can actually change the colors to our real estate brand, right? And we can say, oh, you know what? I'm from Howard Hanna. I want that stuff to look like my Howard Hanna colors, right? And I have a Spanish-speaking country or community, so I'm going to change this to Spanish. And we have translated all of these reports into Spanish. And when you click that button, it actually runs the ad in Spanish. So you don't even need to write it. We've already done all this for you. So there's some helpful tips there about how to use our system in a lot of different communities and different brands, right? So we've seen a lot. Are there any questions on what I've shown you right now? My Spanish isn't that good, so I got to do this in English. My create listing ad won't allow me to click OK for create landing page ad. Won't allow me to click. Where are your ebooks located? They are right here. Just click ads and click create PDF report ad. And the other question, you're saying that these buttons here aren't working. These ones that I'm clicking, create ad, like when you click on them, they're not working. Is that correct? I think if that's correct, you need to upgrade your browser or your settings, because these buttons should work for everybody on any browser. And if they don't work and you check your settings, just the create listing ad. Okay, interesting. That should be working. Do you have listings in your account, David? Do you have listings in your account? What resolutions for the luxury template? Yeah,
You need a resolutions of around 1800 pixels wide to get that kind of luxury look. So let me kind of show you where that question is coming from Patricia. Most of you, your listings come in automatically from the MLS, and the MLS compresses them to push them out. And so when you do that, when we look at our virtual tour or our single property website, we create a lead gen one automatically, and the lead gen one has compressed photos. If we look here, we'll see. You see how there's a big website, and then there's a box on the right. That's a compressed image. A luxury one, which I have because I uploaded the photos manually, this is a full screen image. Now the luxury one is full screen, and so it's not really optimized to capture leads as well as the lead gen one. But if you've got a really nice property and you want to showcase it, I recommend that you use it just like this. Okay. Kathy, what can you address single property websites and what you can do with it? Yeah, I think single property websites are right here. We make them automatically. I recommend that you share them, and you can share them right here on your social media, right? Just click it here, and this will take you over to Facebook, and you can put some language and say, here's a great home. Click it, check it out. We're having an open house this weekend. We do auto posting, but this is just another tool to help you get out there, right? I also showed you just a minute ago, you could have shared the virtual tour the same way. And I want to recommend, if you're sharing the virtual tour, to do this. When you're sharing it, put in all caps virtual tour, because consumers like virtual tours. They like moving movies, right? They don't like to read. And so if you put virtual tour and say, hey, here's a great home, right? Whatever you're going to say, write the virtual tour there as soon as you can, right? So David, maybe you can't click create a listing ad because you don't have a listing in your listing page. So it's not offering that to you. Yeah, so Nina is asking, how do you market a sold listing? I showed you guys earlier on the listings page that you can grab an active listing right here, right? So if it's active for sale, you can grab it. But when it's sold, you can't grab it because it's nowhere available for us to pull. You can then add it manually, and you just need these data points. It's not a lot. And then down here, you add the photos. So Nina, that's how you do it, okay? Can this be a landing page for open houses and other flyers? It can be. Actually, Kathy, the virtual tour, we put a landing page behind it. So our flyers that are created for your tools already have landing pages behind it. We don't automatically put the virtual tour behind it. You can edit it if you want to do that, but we usually put the single property website or the listing landing page behind it. Does that make sense, Kathy, what I'm saying? I'm going to go over to the listings page and show you kind of what Kathy is talking about. Is we have a flyer. Now, I talked about the nearby homeowner flyer, right? And so that's pointing, let's just go look at the nearby homeowner letter. And this is for an open house, okay? So I think I've got one open right here. Oh, that's a landing page. That's for a home valuation link. So this one here, if I click this here, this drives us to a single property website. And that's how it's designed by default. If you wanted to customize it, you could customize it. I don't really think it's worth it. This works really well, okay? So any other questions on any topic about listings to leads? I've kind of gone through all the tools that help you get listings. And I'll also say something here that I forgot to mention. This home is an open house, okay? And one thing that you should know, which is really hard for realtors to understand, is by marketing your listings, you can get more listings, right? This is an open house. So obviously you're thinking you're going to get buyers, right? But there are multiple ways of capturing listings, okay? If I scroll down, there's a big old "What is your home worth" banner right here, right? If I keep scrolling, well, there's my reviews. There's a big old footer of "What is my home worth," right? If I click on "Follow this home" and it pops up automatically, if I click "Continue to Facebook," you're going to have my name and email, and then it's going to say, "Do you own a home?" And if I click yes, it then says, it should say, "Do you need to sell it?" So I guess we just says, "Do you own a home?" If you say yes, see detail, right? That's it. So if you get a buyer lead and they own a home, you know you have a good question to ask. Do you need to sell it, right? And we need, and the reason we do that is we know, and you know as well, that when people want to sell their home, the first thing they do is not start calling random realtors. The first thing they do is start looking on the internet of what's going on in my neighborhood, what's going on in my market, so that I can find out before I talk to a realtor. That's why our tools are designed to find sellers even when we're marketing listings. That's why you want to market your listings with listings to leads so you can get more sellers. Use the tools that I've been showing you to do that. Kathy, okay, so the single property website is the open house landing page. Yes, yes, that's right. Jamie, your categories are in the homes for sale, Ivana. Where do those come from? Good question. Those are what we call lead links. So what he's talking about is on this single property website, I have links that say Sarita Homes under 800K, Lafayette Homes, and these are pointing to my website, right? And we do that because we want people to know, this isn't me, by the way, it's just a realtor's website. We know, and you know, that people look at your homes online for about 5 seconds. And if they want it, they'll hang out. If they don't want it, boom, they're gone. They're on next, right? So if they land here, they're going to look for 5 seconds. If they don't want it, well, now you're offering call to actions like, hey, 800 home, 800, Lafayette Homes under 800K. So that way they can click on it, land on my website, and ideally I can grab them as a lead. Now, that is called a lead link, Jamie. And you see all my lead links here. If they are checked, you can add a lead link by pasting in a link to your website and calling it whatever you want. And when you check it, it becomes a default link, and default links show up on all my tools, just like these links right here. Does that make sense? I noticed your links on the left are all to search more properties. I do recommend this, Patricia, what I'm showing you right now. Yeah, one of my links are to free home values, right, which is a landing page. But like I said, people are looking at your property because they want a property, but then they click on it, they look at the kitchen, they look at something, they don't like it, but now you've got links to show them other homes on your website. So yeah, Patricia, I do recommend that. Any other questions? I kind of finished my story about, what is, interesting, about the top ways to get listings. Jim is asking, my listings don't auto-populate. I add them manually, then they populate twice. Any suggestions? Yeah, I do, yeah. So on your listings, and this is true for all of you, all of my listings I've added manually because I don't have active listings, right? So if I go here to market listings or I click on edit to get to the details, I will know if it has a listing key, it's coming automatically from the MLS. And David, one of your listings, I'm sorry, Jim, one of your listings has an MLS ID and a listing key. And that's because it's coming in twice because you're pulling it in once manually, and then it takes a day or two for it to show up automatically. So you can wait for it to hit automatically, or you can also merge, and this is not coming from, so you could merge a listing, and I don't remember where to merge them, but you can merge them, Jim. You can ask support. Yes, Vanessa's asking, is this being recorded? This is being recorded. It will be in the mastermind group later today. And I showed everybody that you can use this magnifying glass. I recommended that you looked at some of the other agents because they're showing you how to get listings. But you should always use this for this particular function, which is recorded webinar. And you will see our recorded webinars, right? You don't actually need it. Actually, I don't recommend that for recorded webinars. Let me show you what I recommend. I recommend that you go to the mastermind group and just scroll down, because we put our recorded webinars in every time, right? And you'll see things from other agents asking questions. You'll see stuff from Scott and me talking about things. You'll see things from agents saying this worked really well. But if you just scroll down, you're going to see my most recent calls, right? And the most recent calls are the better calls because we add things at least every 2 weeks. There's something new that you should know about, okay? And if you watch a year-old video about how to get listing leads, you're going to be out of date, right? But if you just scroll down, you're going to see the words, just sold listings here. It's a recorded webinar. It's going to say recorded webinar. Top tools to get more listings. This is a recording of this call from November 1st, right? 2 weeks ago. So I definitely recommend that you just scroll down, because sometimes the way that Facebook works, it's going to show you a really old webinar. Just scroll down and see the most recent webinars. We do 3: get started, top tools to get more listings, and Facebook ads. Okay, so I would check those out. You downloaded the handout but didn't get a chance to print it, and my aide is really, yeah, so Kyle, I understand. There is a handout, right? So I definitely recommend that you guys get that handout. It's a little bit of a presentation that's really high level about what we're doing, and I would definitely recommend it. Do I need to put final sales price when I sell a home? You don't need to do that, Jim. I would put it like I showed you when you're running the ad. If you sold it above asking, I would say that in the ad, right? But you don't need to do it in the actual listing there. Yeah, that makes sense. Any other questions? You're welcome, Vidrana. You're welcome. I'm glad this is helping you. Definitely, use these tools if you want more listings, the things we talked about today, okay? Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your questions. This call will be in the mastermind group in the next few hours. You can see our other ones there as well. Take care, keep safe, and keep using the tools. They are working in the market right now, okay? Take it easy.